Greetings, webheads, and welcome to episode 51 of Witty Banter, yet another Marvel Crisis Protocol podcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Alex.
I'm David.
This is JP.
We are here to help you get better at and have more fun with War Crisis Protocol. We are going to talk about today, just talk about winners and losers and where the current meta stands. We're just a little bit before Adepticon, so we'll probably be seeing some changes there. But at least from where we're standing right now, we just kind of wanted to think through what the status of things are. So before we dive into that, though, just a quick little bit of business. If you could, we would really appreciate it. The best thing you can do to help us out is to give us a like, give us a review on your podcaster of choice. That would be really appreciated and helps the algorithm figure out and other people find their way into the neighborhood. Also, if you would consider supporting us at patreon.com/wittybantercast, for as little as $1 a month, you can help us keep the lights on and you can get some cool benefits, including special dojos, access to our Discord, as well as some other stuff that we've got baking in the oven. So hopefully you'll like that, and hopefully we'd like to see you there. David, before we dive into our topic, though, I think you had something you want to bring up.
So I wanted to ask you guys what model that you've been playing recently that has been suddenly you've realized that it's better than you thought they were and that they've been playing better, and maybe give the listeners some ideas of, hey, you could play this model because it hasn't been played in a while. And for me, that model would be Domino, right? Domino's way better than I could. She's really good. The fact that she shuts off your opponent's crits when they attack or when they defend, and she can just count her crits, and she can just randomly explode on people. She's really good.
JP, who's your underrated star? Who've you been playing that have been surprised with?
I've been playing pretty much all Dormammu for a while since the change, and my list has gone through a lot of iterations. But I will say that the guy who probably surprises me the most is Heimdall. Just as a 3-threat in that list, unlocking rerolls and the teleport. I use the teleport a lot on Dorm on round 1 to get him into an advantageous position to just start chunking people. And he's kind of sneaky good. He still has the issue of being a range 2 character, so if he can't hit anybody, he's obviously less effective in the game, but on some maps he's just kind of a boss. Like on intrusions, if someone teleports next to him, he just smacks him in the face.
Alex, how about you? Who's your sneaky MVP?
So I've been playing a lot of Apocalypse in preparation for Adepticon, and that list, nobody's sneaky. It's all good. But everybody knew this, and the pivot that I have, all those models in that pivot. I ain't saying who it is though. All those models are a good pivot. They're all good models. So the other list I've been playing, the Cyclops KBB list, I gotta say it's Cyclops. I'm gonna give him a little bit more credit. He still looks like dog shit on paper, in my opinion, because there's just a couple of things he needs tweaked to be like that 4-threat iconic Cyclops. But with all the other characters in the roster, it really gets his ball rolling a little bit better. And there are times where it's like if he can get 4 attacks in 1 turn, he feels really, really good.
I've been working my Sentinels list back and forth, and although my guy isn't in the list right now, the guy that I've added in that I've been the most surprised with is Man-Thing. He just does a lot. He's kind of hard to kill. He's got his teleport. He's got a Mystic Spender. He can hand out Incinerate, particularly if you're going up against an opponent that really wants to kind of get in and get down and dirty and fighting. So Man-Thing would be my vote.
A range 3 teleport on a large base is very, very good.
Yeah, it is astonishing how far you can move a Sentinel with that. All right, so
Jeez, yeah, that's almost like in total, including the base, like from start to end. It's got to be at least range 5, right?
Yeah, it's like
like 4.5.
At least, yeah.
4.5.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. It's such a huge distance.
If you're
It's
if
6.
You're kind of
It's 6 plus 2 point something, 2.75.
Yeah, so it's like almost 10 inches.
Yeah, it's really.
Well, I'm saying like from where the back of the base is, where they start to where they end.
The back of the base or the front of the base?
Oh,
Back of the base.
Oh,
So like if you're going from,
I guess it's farther than.
yeah. I
Well,
mean, you're probably moving. If you count from the back of the base, they're moving like over 10 inches,
Yeah.
right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like I mean, it's a huge distance.
Yeah. If you maximize it and go like fully 3 away to fully 3 away from one end to the other, you can. It's a long way, and it's. People should see it coming, but I don't know that necessarily happens. And so when you have a Sentinel that moves from functionally one side of the board to the other instantly, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. He's still got there's he's a 3 threat, and so he certainly cost it that way. And on if you got to play just raw attrition, he's a bit of a boat anchor for that. But yeah, I have been. He was a ton of fun to paint, and I really wanted to get the model done. But boy, he's done a lot more work on the table than I was expecting him to. So I'm excited. I gotta figure out a way to get him back in there so we can get him played.
Well, not for nothing. Going back to the domino thing, right? Turning off your opponent's crits on offense is pretty good.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I mean. He's surprisingly tanky, and then he heals back the damage at the end of his activation anyway. So okay, so our main topic that we wanted to talk about was winners and losers. Basically, we're talking about who right now is, given the current status of the game, who's been the biggest winners, who've been the biggest losers, and why. So I think what we'll do is kind of maybe go around the horn. We'll start with, we're going to start positive. We're a positive thinking show here. So who's been the biggest winner based on kind of the current changes in the game? So David, let's start with you. Who stocks up the highest?
I mean, I think Dormammu definitely has, between him getting buffed and the changes to the crisis, means he can kind of cherry pick out the scenarios that he's like terrible at, right? And it's just like super versatile. Like you can put him basically in any roster. So I think Dormammu's definitely the stocks up on Dormammu. Obviously Apocalypse, like, it didn't get any worse for him, so he's still better.
Oh my god, honestly, real quick, David, I think like Apocalypse is doing backflips on ice in Italy right now. That motherfucker is loving the fact that he'll never have to play 16 again.
Well, and the like, he doesn't have to worry about getting like size 5s thrown into him, or like him getting thrown into your team. Like, it's great. And also Apocalypse has more. So I think we'll kind of talk about this more when we talk about the teams that have kind of gotten hurt a little bit. But with Apocalypse, like, Apocalypse can kind of play almost any crisis. So like the fact that you're probably playing the more mid-range stuff means that like Apocalypse is just fine on those things. Like, he likes to play the boxes. He doesn't mind, you know, like the slower scenarios. Like he can fight you if he has to. So I think Apocalypse has definitely got. I think the changes are good for him. I think one of the other affiliations I'd want to shout out is Avengers. I think Avengers could be like, man, Steve One is still like his leadership's still very good, and they having the ability to like kind of decide what crisis you don't want to play is pretty good for and I think Avengers could be I think they have some game now. I don't know if it's gonna amount to anything or like I think Apocalypse is still a kind of awful matchup for Steve, but I think they're pretty good. You guys got any other affiliations you'd want to shout out?
JP, what do you think?
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I have a comprehensive knowledge of the current meta or anything.
JP,
But
this is the internet. This is a podcast. You are expected to have a fully formed hot take on every possible topic.
yeah, so I'm like hardly in the Discords or anything anymore. I'm not really paying attention to anything. I will say that my takeaway is very similar to David's in the fact that I do think that with the changes, Dormammu and APOC got better. And I think it probably just favors any team that's kind of like good at fighting. Just because the way the crises selection works now, it allows the game to be slowed down. Like when we first changed to this new crisis set, like everything got faster, a lot of things got rotated out, a lot of scenarios that were like good for the attrition teams went away. Generally speaking, like VPs on the board went up. But with this change, I think those attrition teams are able to dial the points scored back a little bit with the selections. So yeah, I think APOC and Dorm are sitting pretty good, and like yeah, APOC is just so flexible. He's just good, and like the changes just there wasn't a bad change for him. And Dorm, I mean, he's just a cannon. So, and he's generally more narrow. So he's definitely playing like the attrition focused game, and he has more time to do it.
JP, you've been playing a ton of Dormammu, so I'll ask this for you. So with Apocalypse, it kind of sounded like a lot of his glow up, for lack of a better term, came from the fact that he just didn't take a hit, where some of the other affiliations that we'll talk about here in a little bit did. So it's almost kind of like not like he didn't move up; it's just everybody moved back. With Dormammu, do you think that his ascendancy is coming more from the actual change of his kit, or for the change in the crisis selection? Which of those do you think more contributes to Dormammu's rise?
I feel like it's a trick question. It's like
Yes.
It's just multiple factors kind of cascading into him being better. But I will say that I don't think Apocalypse didn't get better. I think he did get better. His team can be like, the only thing that makes him not a fighty team is that he's usually always 5 wide, which that's not always ideal in a fighty scenario. Like that's kind of why we didn't see APOC too much before the crisis change, was that we had so many fighty teams with fighty scenarios, and like they could just fight APOC more narrowly and still maintain prio and just kind of do whatever they wanted to do. But I mean, for a 5 wide team, APOC is kind of a menace. Like you take APOC, Gambit, Magic, and then you've got your Pestilence character that's just giving everybody conditions. Like if you give Pestilence more time to like spread conditions out, the game just becomes more difficult for your opponent. So slowing the game down is definitely good for APOC, just in general as well. I think like it's not ideal for him because I think there's other lists that can outfight him, but like generally speaking, I think it was a boost for him outside of the throw change and everything.
Alex, as our resident Apocalypse player, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I had mentioned it earlier in David's point. Apocalypse not having to play 16 is just like gold for him. Because that means you don't have to play Honey Badger anymore, and thank God for that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think honestly the mid rangers got the best out of this, like out of the crises change. And that's just because like David and JP mentioned it, but JP really pointed out it's like scoring's not as fast, which I think is a good thing. But it's not as slow as like the heydays of attrition games. So I think it's like finally hit that good mix of average game length you'll see is 4 to 5 turns, which I think that's like perfect for the game. So yeah, those mid rangers, those mid range teams and affiliations really benefited the most. If you're like super attrition-y or super scory, you might have taken a little bit of a hit because like your opponent can just prevent that perfect scenario for you.
Yeah, I feel like right after those changes, we were seeing a lot of maybe like 7 to 9 VP games. Now it feels like I'm seeing a lot more 6 to 8s.
Yeah,
9.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot more 6-8s.
I'm seeing more 6 to 7s because usually the pay to flips are 4, and then the attrition like I feel it's about 7 to 8.
Well, no, it's like 6. I'm seeing 6 a lot too because like when 2 attrition teams are kind of throwing their stuff down, it's like okay,
Yeah.
we're playing intrusions and virus or whatever.
Well, and then
Yeah.
I thought about it like those attrition teams. They're usually also including Wedding Party and Fisk. So then that brings the average down. So okay, that's fair. Yeah, 6 to 8.
Well, that would bring the average up a little bit, but I think you have to be kind of a specialized attrition team to be playing, especially Fisk. I don't think Fisk is
Fair.
necessarily one that everyone wants to play. Like Wedding Party's a little bit more forgiving, but yeah, you definitely need to plan for Fisk. And Wedding Party, like even Wedding Party, it's like you're throwing in 20 threat, which I don't love as attrition, and you're still introducing 4 points to the board. Like I'd still rather just play something that's only 3. Typically, like I don't think it's horrible, but
Well, usually with an attrition, you're playing characters that just want to dig their feet in and shoot, and you don't want to have to be running around chasing anything either.
yeah, that's fair too. But like you have so many options for 3 now. I mean, you got intrusions, you got lockdown, you've got meteors, and I'm like running out because my brain's not working. Is that it?
I know.
Do we only have 3? Do we only have 3
No,
threes?
there's more. No,
There's more than that,
there's
right?
gotta be more than that.
But either way, like that's,
Jailbreak.
No, we're talking. I'm talking secures. Sorry.
Oh, is that lockdown? Lockdown is the one that has.
I already
3,
called that one
right?
out. Maybe there's only
Yeah.
3. Maybe there's meteors, intrusions, lockdown. Maybe that's only 3. But I mean, that's 3 out of 5, and then you just take
Yeah, I guess
a
so.
couple that are whatever. Like, yeah.
Yeah, just
I mean,
a ton of 4s, I guess.
Yeah, but you can even take 4s that are not like McCran or something. Like it's super tight. Like you're gonna be in a scrum the whole time, and it's pay to flip. It's like okay, well, we're just gonna bang it out and see what happens.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't run away very well.
Mcran does not feel like Mcran never feels like it's 4 because it's so tight.
The other thing too with Apocalypse is the changes to priority are less impactful for Apocalypse, right? Because he can just go, I'm going to deploy right here, and I can teleport and like double tap either side. Like if we're playing like a D extract and we're playing hammers, it doesn't matter which hammer you grab, I can place and double tap the other one, right? So he doesn't care that much about like not having priority.
I think Toad, if Toad deploys centrally, I think he can get to either hammer if the terrain is
I believe he can.
If the terrain is agreeable,
he can.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he can. And like terrain, even then, for the most part, isn't too big of a deal for him. It really just depends on how
because he has wall crawler.
Yeah, he's got wall crawler, so he doesn't necessarily care. He just has to land correctly.
Yeah, I've had some issues with it a little bit, but
for sure.
Generally speaking, like it's harder when you only have, if your opponent gets the priority and they take the one that has clearance for Toad, and then you're like, okay, well, I don't know if I can get this one because this piece of terrain is like, it's not within it. Like if Toad's on the other side of it, it pushes him outside of 2, but he can't land on top of it because whatever reason, like he actually can't physically balance on it, or like he's over the edge or something. I've had a few issues with it, but
yeah, on just an entirely unrelated note, it does kind of seem like we have seen a rise of terrain that you can't easily stand on. So that fits into I think what you're talking about, JP.
Yeah.
Listen, AMG just makes weird terrain. I can't help it.
I'm thinking of that fucking Sphinx that you have on your APOC board.
I know there's like 3 spots you can put a model on.
I know that thing's blocked me at least one time from picking up a de-extracted Toad.
The Sphinx is way more stand-onable than about 75% of the actual Apocalypse terrain that AMG's given us.
Yeah. And like the Wakanda terrain.
And the Wakanda terrain.
Yeah.
And God help us when all the new Dark Dimension stuff starts coming out.
Ugh.
What Dark Dimension stuff? We didn't get a leak of anything that shouldn't have been posted prematurely.
Well, we did know about the Shumagorath stuff.
We did.
But yes, either way, it does sound like it's going to be stuff that's going to make boards look really cool, and players have to work really hard to make sure they pick the right table edge to start the game.
It's going to look really cool, but man, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to hate that shit. It's not going to look any sense of uniform whatsoever. And like, it's just so many colors.
You know, I can say that all I want, but from the second I saw that Shumagorath stuff come out, it's like, yeah, I'll be painting that. It's like when they dropped the Tomb of Dracula. I should know better, but it's like, yep, that's getting painted. That's gonna be 2 months of my life down the drain.
My Sanctum's in the box.
I assembled it, and mine's assembled and primed, and that's as far as I've gotten.
You're such a warrior.
I know. Well, it's basically just as close to being on the table as yours is.
No, I think you put in way more effort. I took out a piece of terrain. I took out one of the little pieces of like size 1 terrain to use on somebody's base. That's what I did with that box.
I think it was your Cosmic Ghost Rider for the mailbox.
Yeah, I took out the mailbox. Yeah, you're right.
I think Alex, you wanted a piece of that terrain out of that box, which I think is kind of the only reason I opened it in the first place.
Yeah, I wanted the stop sign. I'm trying to put 4 stop signs so that way I can have a 4-way stop.
We all got to have goals in life.
We all got those terrain king need to express.
That's right. And as we know, webheads, we do not kink shame around here.
It's not even necessarily like a terrain kink. I have one of those 4-way intersection mats from iWarGame, so it's just like it's weird not having a 4-way stop. It just seems weird. That's all.
I'm with you.
Just an OCD kink.
Listen,
hey.
the Sentinels got to know where to stop.
Sentinels don't give a fuck. They'll just step on that stop sign.
I was about to say, not anymore. I mean, I can.
Prime. The Prime will stop.
The Prime, that is true. Because the one thing we know about the Sentinel Prime, he's very much a firstborn child. He's a rule follower.
I think he wears it. That's why.
I don't know about that whole child thing.
It would explain why he's taller. It would explain why the Prime's
There you
taller
go.
than all the other ones too. I think you're onto something there, JP.
Them stiletto
It
heels.
probably gives him +1 to perception, so he can see farther.
All right, so we've had our conversation about winners. So let's do the same thing. Let's do what the internet was built for, and let's be negative and tear things down. David, who are some of the big losers of where the game's currently at, and why?
I got to talk about my beloved webs.
Yeah.
I really like webs, and they're so much fun. But, like, I was finding when I was playing webs that I almost never was, like, I don't think I ever played a game on Scoundrels. Like, it just never came up. And, like, I maybe played 1 or 2 games of Riots. Like, the crisis that webs are good at, like, everybody's just choosing the other stuff that you have to bring, right? So you're like, I mean, I'm gonna bring Scoundrels, Riots, and Cosmic Invasion, right? But like after that, it's like, am I taking, um, Infinity Formula and whatever other B? So like your opponent's just gonna pick those, and then that's it. And you're like, well, I guess I'm playing 4 secures on, uh, what if I end up pulling something that's slow? Like I get 2 of the 3-point extracts. Now I'm like 7 points on the table. This is not great. It just made it so webs have to like conceive a plan on trying to be a little bit more fighty than they were previously, which I think is okay. They can do it. It's definitely not ideal, and it just doesn't feel. Before playing webs, you would be like, "Oh, I got riots or I got scoundrels," and now it's like this crisis feels amazing for webs, and you're just not getting that feeling. And half the time, you're just ending up on the same set of like, now we're playing Infinity Formula and hammers or whatever extract your opponent picked us for, scrolls or something. So like it just makes them. I mean, there's probably a world where they play Miles's leadership just like they were before, and it's probably fine. If it being good, I'm not 100% sold because I still think Miles is very vulnerable as a character, and there are a lot of things that can just randomly wreck him, like Sentinels or Emma or any of these like mystic attackers that he can't like get away from, like Apocalypse. Yeah, I think Webs took a hit. I don't know what you guys think.
JP, what are your thoughts about the current losers of the affiliation games?
Well, since I've been so entrenched in the meta lately, um, I've got a lot to say about this. That that's sarcasm, guys. I'm just gonna say what like the opposite of what I said about the winners. Like I think anybody who was trying to score the game really quickly took a hit. I think they were feeling pretty good about the new Crisis set when it released, and games were scoring out pretty quickly. And they were getting to play on Scoundrels like 1/3 of the time. Now it's definitely slowed down, and they're feeling it. So I think anybody whose primary goal is to score is gonna be hurting. Anybody who's trying to engineer around one play is gonna be hurting because of the second priority rule. You're not guaranteed to like get your round 1 play, whatever the thing is. Like if you're taking like like an ASM or an Amor or something to grab the middle extract and the opponent gets prio, then you took a 5 threat and you don't get to do the thing that you wanted to do anymore. So obviously that's a little weaker. I've heard people say that Inhumans are weaker, and I mean they are because of that and the nerf to or the banning of the what's their card? The
Great
teleporting card.
Refuge.
Great Refuge, yeah. I still think they're definitely not as good because they're not like particularly fighty outside of Bolt. You can make a fighty Inhumans list, I suppose. Obviously some people locally have done that. But like the scenario play is slowed down. I think like Quicksilver's still good. On certain extracts. Even if you lose the prior roll, you can still go up like 3-2 if you're playing like a 5 extract, a 5-point extract, which is good. You get to break parity with losing the prior roll, and if you win the prior roll, you're in even better shape. So I think Quicksilver's still good. It's just like it got slowed down. So yeah, like Bolt hits like a truck, but you're taking like, I don't know, whoever, Quicksilver, Lockjaw, just like random crap in your Inhumans list that's not necessarily fighty. I guess you could retool it to be a little more fighty, but I don't know. I do think I do think Black Bolt is a good centerpiece for a fighty list. So maybe we'll see some Inhuman adaptations to the new meta. Obviously, like I haven't seen it personally because I'm not playing online. I'm not looking at forums, and local meta is very limited. But having Bolt with a range 4 gun with Pierce and a reroll and bodyguard and being a 5 threat, like I think he can make a decent basis for like a fightier squad. I guess the problem comes in is like, okay, I guess you could take Lockjaw for like some early aggression for like aggressive tempo, but then you're like stuck with taking another character and then like your splash attrition piece. So you're like kind of getting taxed on the affiliation list a little bit because they're not necessarily like the best at attrition. But I'm rambling. Yeah, I think the scenario teams definitely hurt a little bit. But I mean, they're not getting size 4 thrown into them anymore, I guess.
Yeah, it's good.
Alex, go ahead, Dan.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Never mind. Go on to Alex.
Alex?
I do have another.
Okay, Alex, how about you? What are your thoughts on kind of the current losers of the game setting?
I'm honestly gonna mirror David and JP here. I feel the scenario teams took they took a hit for sure. I don't think it was like a massive hit per se, because like they can be lucky sometimes and still get 8 points on the table. But I don't know. I think scenario took a hit. I honestly think attrition took a little bit of a hit too. Like they're definitely bad. Well, maybe they didn't take a hit. I don't know, because they're not. I don't feel they're going to get a perfect scenario where there's going to be 6 points on the table or something. You know what I mean? I don't think they'll ever see that, or if they do, it's going to be very rare.
It was happening to me a decent amount. The thing is like you're going against another attrition list then, so it's like
Fair.
it's not like you have an advantage necessarily. I was gonna say
Right.
though, I got rambling so hard about Inhumans. I think Asgard took a hit too, specifically, just because like they were size 4 throw kings and now they're not. It'll be interesting to see though, because with the attrition-y stuff kind of coming back into favor, and I think like Adam Warlock's gonna be a thing, and probably Kang. Like these new, I'm very interested to see this new Asgard box, how it performs on the table. Because although I don't like the 3 dweebs, their spender is actually pretty lethal. And it's basically like a duplicate Valkyrie spender. So if you have both of them on the table and you're going against like a Dormammu, Apocalypse, Kang, Adam Warlock, something like that, like they're gonna be thumping that dude really hard. And if you combine that with like a Doom Prophecy, it's gonna get interesting, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think New Valk is. I mean, she's not a slouch. Like, She can move around a lot. She can move other people. It might be good for them. But
Like
yeah,
Warriors,
losing the terrain throws just hurts so
Warriors
much.
3 can throw out. They've got that superpower that lets them make another attack. So
Yeah.
you've got like you go Doom Prophecy, and now you're hitting for 8, and then another 8, and then your spender's like, I mean, depending on who it's against. Like if it's against Dorm, it's like what, 15 dice. I think it starts
Yeah.
at 4, and you add 8, and then add 3. It's like okay. Well, I guess Dorm's weird because they get pushed, but if you can backstop or something,
Yeah.
maybe not the greatest example. Adam Warlock will say.
All right. So, David, kind of go around the horn again. What do you think right now has been the biggest driver of the change? Has it been the the character changes? Has it been the means of the crisis selection process? Has it been something else, or where do you think these changes have mostly derived from?
I would say the fact that you, like, us as players have agency in what crisis from our opponent's pool we get to pick. So having that agency, like, it just changes the dynamic of, like, it's like before, say you were playing webs and you lost the priority roll, and they pick their secures. Well, now you got like a 1 in 3 chance you're gonna play scoundrels, or if you don't play scoundrels, it might be riots. And so, like, you didn't have a way to be like, well, I didn't really want to play one of those. So, like, having the ability to go, no, we're not going to play that thing that you're really good at and that you've really teched your roster to be good at. And it makes the teams that were reliant on those kind of scenarios start to, like, they start to have to figure out, how do we play in the middle ground of all the crisis that everybody else is bringing. And I mean, maybe Webs will adapt. I'm sure they will. I'm sure a lot of players will figure something out. Maybe they'll go more fighty. I mean, 2099 is no slouch, and like Noir isn't a slouch either. Like, they can hit if they have to. They're just not reliable at it. Um, I think that's the biggest thing, is having the ability to, like, veto a crisis, especially when, like, teams would usually be like, like, I'm excellent at scoundrels. I'm going to have this plan. This is my 20 threat scoundrels. This is my, 18 threat scoundrels team. So, like, because before you had rosters that were like, I'm just building around playing these crises, and, I just need to have something for the threat. And now it's a lot more dynamic, and it's forcing a lot of teams to adapt and try to figure out, how do we do this? How do we play this particular scenario combination? So it's definitely better for the overall health of the game. It just means that a lot of the rosters that had the, like, they had their, like, shtick, and now it's like their shtick isn't as good as it used to be. So it makes them just not feel as good. Like, anybody who's played webs on riots knows that, like, webs are ridiculously good at riots. And so now, like, they're not playing those crises, so they have to figure out what to do. Which, I mean, it is what it is. And there's a lot of people out there who, like, obviously are like, fuck webs. So I mean, it is what it is.
JP, what do you think right now? What do you think's been the biggest driver of a kind of a change in the stock up and stock down of the game?
As far as like between the scenario changes and like just the different rule changes, you mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, has it been that part of the rule changes? I mean, we've had a whole bunch of different rule changes. I guess we've had the changes in throw damage. We've had the changes in who gets to get knowing who gets first activation. We've had character changes. I guess there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of different moving parts that we've had. So, which do you think's overall been the most impactful in terms of changing who's good and who's not, or who's better? And
I
who's
mean,
not?
I'd like to have like a different answer, but I'm gonna have to say scenario. Scenario is just huge. Like that's what you actually end up playing like the whole game is the scenario. So changing that, changing the selection is very impactful. I mean, we saw how impactful it was when they rotated out demons and gamma, and before that, when researcher got taken out, like it fundamentally changes the way the game's played.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this was like definitely a softer hit than I feel like the rotation, the crisis rotation with the new card pack was more extreme of a hit to the meta than it is now with the change to the crisis selection with the new rules with the new crisis set. Like I feel like this is a softer change, but it's still definitely impactful to the way people are playing and even selecting what affiliations they're playing. And I think people just like to fight, at least in America. Like I feel like people prefer just kind of beating them up. So whenever a meta can shift more toward a beat 'em up, I think people are going to lean into it more. So,
Alex, how about you? What do you think's kind of been the biggest driver in terms of how the meta has changed how the game's being played?
Yeah, I just got to mirror what these guys said. Like having the like the scenarios, how they work now, is making such a big deal in how like the meta is being played. Because it really slows down those scenario teams and the attrition teams. Obviously, they prefer slower crises and like a slower scoring game. So, I mean that veto is such a big fucking deal for the game now. But it's not like a death sentence one way or the other. I feel. Yeah, scenario probably took the hit the most, but it's not necessarily doomsday for them because it could be you might be lucky enough that your opponent is unlucky and draws the two that you want. So it's a double-edged sword.
So while we've been talking, I pulled some data off of Longshanks because I was curious to see if the changes in the crisis selection had a really big effect in terms of which crises actually got played. In other words, did the crisis selection rules change which crisis end up getting played on a broader basis? What would your before we kind of get into the what the data showed? What would you guys guess be? Do you think that the change in the scenario choices has really effectively changed which crisis we actually see getting on the board? What would your guess be? David, we'll start with you.
My guess would be that a lot of the more fringe skewed crisis probably get played less. So like there's probably less Fisk and less Scoundrels and probably more like Infinity and more the boxes. So more Infinity, more Guardian, Save Shi'ar, more Madmen. That would be my guess.
JP, how about you? What would you guess is going to show up?
show up as being played less or more.
In other words, how big of an effect in terms of if you look at just here's the statistical breakdown of the different crises that are getting played. How much change would you have expected to see based on the change in the scenario selection rules?
When you say how much change would I expect to see, I'm not really. Maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know what the question is.
No, I'm not asking it very well. So, say you look at a you look at a list from most common to least common of crises that are being played before the change in the scenario selection. And then you look at that same list after the change in the scenario selection. Would you expect that list to look the same or different, or
Okay, so I would I would say the same thing as David. I would expect like senators to be way down, riots to be down, senators to be down, or no, I didn't. I said senators, scoundrels to be down, Fisk to be down. Um, Probably, I would expect alien ships to probably be down. I would expect a lot of the like David was like. I feel like I'm just gonna be a fucking muppet the whole episode and just keep repeating what David's saying because that's like how I feel. So like hammers is gonna be up, like infinity is gonna be up, just kind of those mid, like guardian shapes, shiar, all those kind of like mid range, like happy for everybody sort of, but not really scenarios where it's like it's not skewed one way or the other. um yeah.
Alex, how about you?
Ditto. I mean, these guys are sharing the exact same thoughts I'm sharing for the most part. Like, yeah, like those very skewed, like super. I'm only using this word because it's the best word I can think of. Those punishing crises. Like Fisk is super punishing if you're not prepared for it. And like Scoundrels can be very punishing if you're not prepared for it too. That cover bonus is so big, and how quickly it scores makes such a huge difference. And like even Senators, like uh that one can be punishing too, just in the sense of just having that one move action per turn. It's huge. I've gotten so many people off guard with that because they'll like it really affects like chargers. They'll charge with the character, hit, and then plan to move back where they were or like jump somewhere else where they need to go. But because the charge specifies a move action, you can't do it again.
Yep.
So it's those punishing and like those tough ones to play if you don't have a plan for them. Those ones I definitely agree probably are not going to be seen as much. They're going to be pretty low on the list.
So I was expecting the list to look fairly significantly different, and I'm kind of amazed at how very similar they look. I took one set that was basically a year's worth, so it went back 1 year from today's date, and then I took a second set, the that was just from calendar year 2026, and there's not really much of a difference at all. On um, the for the secures for the full year, it was Mcron at 14%, Scoundrels at 10, Infinity at 10, Blue Wedding at 9, Riots at 8, Guardians at 8, Intrusions at 8. For 2006, it's Mcron 12, Infinity 12, Lockdown is at 9, Scoundrels at 9, Riots 9, Blue Wedding 9, Guardians 7. So it's kind of almost the same thing, at least towards the top. And it's kind of the same with the extracts. It's
Real quick,
hammers.
Patrick, I did want to point out one thing on that.
Uh-huh.
That list, both sides, there was only one pay to flip.
Yeah.
And oh no, wait, no, Shiar's a pay to flip, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
the Guardians, I think. The Guardians one is
pay-to-flip.
Okay.
Yep. But that's like 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4. That's 7th or yeah, it's either 6th or 7th on the list. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so
I mean,
the pay to flips are not popular, so that goes to show
Mad
that
Men-
statistically they still aren't.
Yeah, Mad Men went from 7% to 6%. Fisk went from 5% to 3%. So, and for the extracts, it's for the full year, it was Hammer, Scrolls, Legacy, Samples, Inhuman Weapons, Montesi. And for 2006, it's Hammer, Scrolls, Legacy, Montesi, Inhuman Weapons, Samples. So it's, I will confess, for as much as I think we all agree that the means of selecting Crisis definitely has pretty significantly shifted the game. The crises that are actually being played don't look like they've been pretty sticky in terms of what actually is being played. I'm surprised by that. I will confess.
Well, I will say that the numbers can be a little maybe misleading. Just for the fact that there's so many crises that they have to share 100%, right? So
Yeah.
going from like 12% to 9% played is like a 25% reduction in the rate of play.
That's true. That's true.
It doesn't seem like a lot because it's such a small number, but like there's I will say, like, I'm still surprised that they're like the Scoundrels is as high as it is, and some of the like more fringy stuff. But generally speaking, like shifting like a few percentage points in a pool where there's like 12 crises or whatever there are, that's fairly significant.
So where do we think things go from here? So we're kind of well into this, current set of rules where we're kind of knocking on the door of the new crises that are coming, which is going to blow this whole thing up. But we do have Adepticon that come in just over a month. Holy crap! I better get ready and start working on that. So what do we think? Are we is this where we're going to be for a while, or what do you guys see as next on the horizon? And that can be anything from an affiliation that is gonna maybe has been underloved and is gonna get played more, a crisis selection, or just anything that you can see that maybe is on its way. JP, I'm gonna start with you, so you don't feel like you're playing second fiddle.
That's good because I got something that's off the wall anyway.
Fucking Christ! The only time Patrick does this, you guys will never believe this. I bumped my headphone amp and turned the power off, and the whole time Patrick's like speaking. I'm just like watching his lips move, but I can't hear anything he's saying. I turn it on, and Patrick says like the last four words of his last sentence, and he calls on me. I'm like, he's gonna call on me, isn't he?
I was totally gonna call on you.
Chaos theory.
I feel like I'm feeling like my law professor vibes are really bumping up to 11 today. I'm just in the zone. Basically, JP, the only thing I was asking is just what's coming next. What do you see as kind of the what we're going to see at Adepticon or something that we're not seeing now.
I think Dormammu's kind of out of the bag at this point. I think people are going to be playing him. I think people are going to be probably playing the new stuff, so we're going to see Adam Warlock. We'll see like some Guardians. That's the thing that like never ceases to amaze me with this game is like I feel like the player there's definitely a contingent of players that are like chasing the meta super hard, but like even at the most like stupidly busted points of the meta, like there's still a huge variety of stuff that people are playing. So I don't expect like an overwhelming amount of anything really, but we will see. I think we'll see some more Guardians than we've been used to lately. Is Kang coming out before then?
Yes, I believe he is.
Okay, so I think we'll see a little bit of Kang, just because he's a new guy. He's got a good leadership. His Cabal, like people are probably play him a little bit. And obviously we'll see a little bit of Apocalypse. I'll be interested to see if we see, like I was saying earlier, I'll be interested to see if people are playing Asgard just to try to pick on the big guys. I don't know if it actually works. I haven't actually put it on the table, but I feel like having those spenders based on the target's threat value those spenders are super deadly. So it kind of seems like a rock paper scissors weapon that the AMG kind of threw into the arena of like, oh hey, let's introduce this and see what happens. So yeah, I think we'll probably see like a decent amount of stuff. I'd have to imagine. I feel like the meta feels pretty good right now. It might be leaning a little bit more attrition-y, but like historically speaking, like I don't think it feels bad. I think it feels pretty healthy. I think we'll see a good amount of stuff.
Okay, David, hit us with your off the wall.
So I think we're going to see a shift in. I wanted to talk about the characters that people are going to be playing.
Okay.
So like I think there's going to be more. I think people are going to be playing Emma, for example. Like I think they're going to be splashing Emma. They're going to be taking her. I think she's good. I think more people are going to be playing Fury. The health buffs on Fury are good. Like, obviously, there's people out there that think the whole Namor Zemo double bubble thing is busted, and I'm assuming that we'll see some of that, if not a lot of it. Which means maybe there's room in there for Shield, right? Because Shield has Fury, and they got Namor, and they'll probably bring Zemo. So, that's always a good combination.
Don't blow my cover, David. What are you doing, man?
I think that I think we'll probably see maybe a little less of like Shang-Chi. Maybe he even gets nerfed before then, but if not, I still think that there might be a lot of these other characters might just start becoming more prominent just because of the changes. And yeah, that's what I think. I think there's going to be some character changes that like people are going to be playing stuff that we hadn't really been seeing people play much of. Like I could see people splashing the Prime, for example. Like he could be in some rosters. Yeah, I think it'll be exciting. I'm definitely excited to see what Adepticon's going to look like.
Alex, what do you think?
JP and David covered a lot of what I was going to say, except rescue. That
Yeah.
bitch, she's going to be everywhere. People are going crazy over her. Don't get me wrong. I think she's great still, but I think people are too excited for her. She's good, but man, I think Ironmonger is the winner there. I would love to see him
Ironmonger
everywhere,
is so good.
but I think people are just too excited for rescue, even though like she's fine. I don't think she's like busted or anything. So I expect a lot of rescue though, because everybody is in love with her.
Well, I can tell you, I'm probably skewing the curve on that one because I already have rescues slotted into my roster the microsecond that she comes out. So I am definitely on team overexcited for rescue.
But I also think we're going to see a lot of the new crises, the lockdown and jailbreak. People really enjoying those crises. I think it's going to be so popular as to like the point of over the next month before Adepticon, I'm going to like force those games if my opponent's okay with it just to get the practice because I fully expect those to be everywhere.
Yep. Especially particularly lockdown. I agree. Not sure about jailbreak. That one feels nichey, but lockdown I do think you're going to see a ton of. I am going to go ahead and call a shot now. I think post Adepticon, people are going to be complaining about Adam Warlock kind of the way they complained about CGR Hulk after a couple of LBOs ago. My interaction in Discord is relatively limited, but it's also I'm in a whole bunch of different ones, and man, every place I'm going, it's just, oh my god, Adam Warlock's amazing. So that's I'm just putting a pin in that. We'll see post Adepticon if that's where we end up.
I just want to say, shout out to Emma, because she totally fucks with Warlock so hard.
She does.
Especially if they bring reality with Warlock, he's gonna feel real sad when Emma's like, no, you're not gonna do any of that stuff.
Yeah, Emma just says no to all of that. All right. Any kind of final thoughts on the status of the game, kind of where we're sitting, sort of at the this feels like the last big hurrah of the current status of the game before we get the new crisis rotation. So, David Alex, we're going to start back with you. Any kind of final thoughts on where we're at before we close up shop for the night?
I don't have any final thoughts, just because like I don't want to think too hard or think too far ahead, because like you said, like the new crisis is around, like it's right around the corner. I fully expect it to be a May release at the absolute latest. If it's not April, I would be very surprised. So I just don't have any like true final thoughts that we haven't already discussed. So I just don't want to think too hard about it and ruin any possible expectations thinking about the current meta still.
Conservation of energy. I'm all about it. I like it. JP, how about you?
Not really. I've basically been playing one affiliation since the changes, and I'm only playing like 2 to 3 games a week, so it's not like I have a huge pool of data to draw from. It does feel good though. Like the games feel good. Like games are like getting past like rounds 3 and 4, but it's like I'm still not seeing like a ton of games won by tabling, or it's still pretty rare to like go to round 6. Like it's happening more with the changes for sure to the crisis selection, but I feel like it's in a pretty good, like a healthy state. Like I think when games are ending on like round 3, I guess technically it could end round 2, but that'd be ridiculous. But like round 3 wins are just a little fast for the game. I think getting up into like 4 and 5 is probably like the sweet spot, and like obviously 6 is like fine. It's getting a little long, but I don't know. It feels like the game is in a good spot, at least right now. And obviously that could change with just a few releases, i.e. like Adam Warlock possibly. Again, I have no experience with Adam. I haven't played on TTS or anything, so I don't know if he's actually living up to the hype, but we shall see. If we move, I mean, there's a chance we could move into a meta where like playing 3 tall again, but that's like the maps just aren't as good for that. Maybe if it's heavily weighted toward attrition and everyone's like lowering stuff where it's like not as much of an issue like going down in points, like we might be seeing like the battle of the 3 tall squads again. But again, the other thing with that is like the threat values, right? Because we had 3 15s, right? Or was it 2 15s? Maybe it was 2s. It was Gamma and Researcher. Do we have another 15? Felt like we did, but maybe not.
Gamma, Researcher,
Sword,
Sword,
right?
and Wakandan Herbs was 15 way back in the day.
Yeah, I'm not going that far back, but yeah.
Okay, fair. I wasn't sure.
But like now is like the minimum of 16, so it makes the squads a little harder to make 3 tall. Like it was a lot easier to make a 3 tall 15 squad than a 3 tall 16 squad. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but when you actually start adding up threat values for different characters, it's like, oh shit, 16 is actually like a lot harder to get to than like 1 point would make you believe. But we'll see. We'll see if we end up there again. Hopefully not, but if we do, you guys know I'm here for it.
David?
My closing thoughts would be probably play more games. Get out, play some games. Play with the new Crisis. Play with new Valkyrie. Her model is amazing, and like I think she's pretty good. And I think Armonger's gonna be good. So like I'm excited for the future of what people are gonna be playing, and like I'm sure somebody's gonna at Adepticon, somebody's gonna pop out with some crazy off the wall random list that you're like, whoa, what is this? And then it like does really well. So who knows? I think you just play, right? Like that's the whole point.
Alrighty, well, Webheads, what do you think? What's who's been the big winners? Who's been the big losers? And what's coming next? We'd love to hear from you. Hit us up at all the socials. You can let us know at Witty Bantercast. If you are part of the Patreon for just $1 a month, you can come into our Discord and we can have that conversation too. Who's our big winners? Who's our big losers? We'd love to hear from you as well with that as well. Other than that, thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving us your ears for our webheads. And until next time, be good.